Hey guys, it is Dyno Day. I am here at Niagara Dyno Services in Fenwick, Ontario, and Brad, he's going to be dynoing my car today, and he's going to be showing me how to make changes safely to the Holley system. And while we got on there, we're going to see if we can make a little bit more power. The main goal though is I need to learn. I want to learn how to make changes, and I need someone to show me. Brad's willing to show me, and you know, if we can make it run a little bit better, you know, I'm all for that. So, you know, I brought the trailer, we just unloaded it. He just brought it in, and you know, I brought it on a trailer just in case, you know, we push a little too hard and break something, which hopefully we don't. But yeah, we're gonna go get set up now, and then see what kind of fun we can have. So with the car strapped down, Brad just went over everything under the hood, just to kind of do a preliminary check, make sure we have things routed correctly.
This was the base tune file that got set up by whoever set up the original base. Oh, sorry, Steve. Now your car has learned, so you see these values up here where it says like 104, 105. So up there it's taking away 9, so that 105 minus 9 is turning into 96, right? And then anywhere in here it's adding. So what we're going to do is we're going to take your base fuel and your learn table, we're going to apply it. Alright, so we're going to go transfer learning to base. Yes. Now when we go back to that, kind of see it looks better already. There's not sharp changes in color. They're blending a little bit, and we'll get those to blend even a little bit better.
Okay.
Alright, so your target air fuel on the handheld, you're just saying at idle you want 14, at cruise you want 14.4, at wide open throttle you want 13. So it's just blocking it out that way. But we're actually coming here, we'll blend this out as well too. Get things a little bit nicer than what we have.
Smells wicked rich.
Yeah, it didn't even hit the limiter, just kind of hung out. Like,
Getting hot at all?
when I just shut it off, we were 197.
Okay.
So boost hit 16.1, which is good. So we hit the same boost with those settings as what you hit on the street. And we hit that in and around about 6,400 RPM. We went to 6,700 RPM. And on the second run, I added a little bit more load into it. We'll see if we hit that any sooner. So on the second run, we didn't quite hit 16 pounds of boost, 15.8, 15.4, which is where that little bit less power was. And 100 RPMs less. Let's see what the fuel was on it.
It's gonna come outside where it's a little quiet. So the first 2 pulls we did there were around 15.8 to 16 pounds of boost between those 2 pulls, making about 520 horse. We're a little bit rich, and he's just gonna go and clean some stuff up, and we're gonna do another pull and see where we're at. I gotta tell you, standing in front of this car when it's going full out is terrifying. Hey, you're good.
Yeah, take her home.
Okay, we're gonna try this again. Kind of more of what you were expecting, eh?
It's better up top, but it picked up top.
A little too big for it.
You can actually kind of see where it really starts to spool. Like that kick up as they really start to build up some boost, and then it's carrying up through there.
Not until about 4,500.
What's that?
Not until about 4,500.
Yeah.
You see a lot of guys, they go like 66s and 68s. I've got 72s. So it might take a little bit more to spool them.
Yeah, but you're making quite a bit of jam. But I guess even that being said, you're right. Your peak number is coming in at 16 psi boost, but you're only getting 16 psi right at the very end of the run. Let's see what kind of boost we got at 5,000. Pounds of boost. So at 5,000 RPM, you're only 2 pounds of boost.
At 5,000 RPM, about 2 pounds?
Yeah. And then it starts escalating. Sorry, 1 second there. So by the time you get to 5,500, you're at 6.5 pounds of boost. 6,000, you're 10.6, and you're kind of hitting your high 15s and 16s on a cooler run, 16s, like 6,400 to 6,600 RPM. So it's a little bit late to the party. Something like this, and then I don't know where it's going to start to taper off over here, but if it's not, it doesn't have a big racing cam in it, it's going to be falling off after 6,000.
Yeah, it's cam, but it's not a super aggressive cam.
Right.
So what we're looking to do right now is we're only making 2 pounds of boost at 5,000 RPM. So we're going to pull the intake pipe off, and we're going to do a NA run just to kind of get an idea as to what this engine does naturally aspirated. That kind of gives us an idea as to what it should be doing turboed. Right now we're thinking just the turbos might just be a little too big for this motor. They are 72/68s and it's just not very efficient. Right now we're hitting 16 pounds of boost at like 6,500 RPM. But at 5,000 RPM we're only making 2 pounds. So we're gonna do just a fun run here with no boost. Man, you feel it in the floor.
Yeah. We tested boost log and see what happened. It was climbing and it just kind of dropped.
That elbow collapsed. Like as soon as you let off.
Yeah.
Which is weird. You think if you let off, it'd be fine. But right at peak, this here just went. It just.
Oh, okay. That might be something.
Yeah. So this collapsed right at the end of the run. The reason why we left this on was because my intake air temperature sensor is right there. But
yeah,
we're gonna have to abandon that and do another pull with this not on, because it just, like you probably saw, it just folded. So now with this boot tied back out of the way, we're gonna do another pull.
Something's not driving there. Something's not right. Let's see what we got. Because that is no curve. That's
With the green line that just swoops up.
that's the.
See the purple one?
Yeah, it's this one. There. So that's your torque converter, right? I'm assuming it's torque converter flashing. And it's grabbing, but it's kind of like powers in and falling off. I mean, around, well, 272 horsepower after a turbo 350, or after a 400. It's not horrible, but it just really, I don't know. That's not what
Yeah.
it says on the dash.
So now that you say that, the 320 horsepower reading I had
Yep.
was when I had a 4L60.
Yeah.
So that was before the turbo 400 was put in.
The 400 chews up like 40, 45 horse more than a turbo 350 or 4L60.
Yeah.
They're like a 60 horsepower chew. A 400 is almost a 100 horsepower chew.
Okay. Yeah, 'cause like that was on the stock converter,
Yeah.
stock 4L60.
Where you see like where it's saying like the max power is, like we're not making a shit ton of power up here, so boost is getting higher, but you're adding boost to falling power. You're not going to get the same return. If this was kind of in here, this would be way up here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's take a look at it.
I think a lot of my issues start down in this area though.
Yeah.
We have no boost. It's all motor, right? This is basically all motor until you get to here.
And here it's not even going up by a lot. So when we see this bump, I said that's where boost is coming. That's more likely your torque converter flashing. So we see the same thing here. That's kind of like, this is just free speed, and then this is where it really starts to give power to the wheels and put the engine under load. Right. That extra extra air going in is what's going to give you the extra power, which is also extra air going out. It's going to help your turbo spool faster.
Yeah. So what we've been talking about here is I have a GM hot cam in this motor. Back when I put this motor together, it was naturally aspirated. I didn't know I was going to be turboing it yet. And we feel like one of the reasons why the boost is coming in really late, and this is all dropping off and stuff.
Yeah, want to explain it? So this is your naturally aspirated, no boost. Let's get rid of the boost. Here's your NA. You're flashing off the torque converter. You're finally catching. This is your horsepower and torque curve. So your horsepower is very hanging out pretty consistent through here at around 250 horsepower to the wheels. Once you apply boost, you're amplifying what that is. So we can put in a camshaft that is going to make a higher number naturally aspirated. That same increase is going to show in boost as well and be amplified. So if you make an extra 100 pounds and 100 horsepower NA at 15 pounds of boost, you're going to make an extra 200 pounds or 200 horsepower. Like, so just adding 100 horsepower to this is going to add 200 to your boost graph, and that would take your 552, and now you're talking 750, between 7 and 750 horsepower of the wheels, which is more kind of inclined to where you targeted want it to be.
Yeah. So like, I could change out to a smaller turbo, which would bring the boost in quicker, but I could also switch the cam and put a turbo cam in there, which could push more air through the exhaust sooner and waken these turbos up. And, you know, cost analysis, it could be cheaper just to put a cam in it than to replace 2 turbos. And, you know, that might be where I should look into next. So, looks like I'm pricing out a cam. You know, because we could just sit here all day running it, and we're just gonna continue to see the same curve, which is nothing until the end. It's just gonna be a straight line, and all the power's at the end, right before you shut it down. You know, we've got this whole RPM range right in the middle where we're not really seeing much. So I feel like we need to tackle the middle, and let's maybe try a different cam first. Came here for one purpose, which was to learn how to navigate through the Holley a little bit better. Possibly try and squeeze a little bit more horsepower out of it while we're at it. But through doing that, we found a larger underlying problem, and that's that the turbos really aren't doing anything until you're at 6,000 RPM, which is what I did not know that was happening. So we need to address that problem before we do a whole lot more here. All right, back home. Turned out to be a very long day. Now, I didn't film everything that Brad and I went through. He was showing me how to smooth out graphs and a whole bunch of stuff I was learning for the first time. And I mean, it's hard for me to do a how-to video on how to tune or anything like that when I myself am learning from nothing, because I don't really know anything when it comes to tuning. So that's not going to be the first visit I have with Brad. I will be going back. We are going to make some changes to the car, and then we're going to put it back on the dyno. We're going to see if those changes did anything for us, and I get to have some more time in front of the computer with him, him walking me through how to make safe changes, what I'm supposed to be looking for, how to stay within certain parameters. So this is just the beginning for me, and understanding how the Holley works and how to make changes. But we did learn something about the car, and that is it is not working the way it's supposed to. Basically, it's lazy, and then it starts coming in, but by the time it hits peak boost, you gotta let off because we're already at 6,500 RPM or 6,300 RPM. So at 5,000 RPM, we were making 2 pounds of boost. At 4,500 RPM, we were at like negative half a pound, so we weren't making anything. So we were talking like, you know, the turbo's too big. Is the converter, is it flashing too high? It's not, there's no load until like over 4,000 RPM when we're in third gear. Is the camshaft not an efficient camshaft for a turbo setup? And that's where we're leaning right now. Is the cam I have in there is a GM hot cam. It's designed for a naturally aspirated motor, and I think we're leaving a lot on the table, and Brad thinks we're leaving a lot on the table by keeping it in there. So I need to now source some kind of a turbo cam that isn't ridiculously priced, and because I mean, I'm not competing with this car. This is just a fun car, but I would like to make it as fun as possible without breaking the bank. And you know, by changing out a camshaft, we might be able to find one fairly cheap, and you know, it could wake this thing right up. I did notice I have a slight boost leak here on the wastegate, and this is before it goes through the wastegate. So this is, you know, you can see how it's all black there, and I could actually feel the exhaust coming out. Little things like that. I don't know how much of a difference it's going to make, but I've got time to take this apart, and we're going to fix the little things that we feel could be an issue. So that's the change we're going to make. I'm going to try and source a cam. We're going to see what the difference is between an NA cam and a turbo cam, and whether it's worth it. But yeah, learned a lot today. Learned that my car's not working the way it's supposed to. It's so hard to retain all the information Brad was giving me regarding on how to tune. But the more I do it, the easier it'll become. But I mean, it was a fun day anyway. It's so nerve-wracking when the car is on the dyno, and that room isn't very big, and every time he did a pull, like you could feel the floor vibrating, like you could feel it through your whole body. So it's a little terrifying to stand anywhere in that room when it's happening, and it's probably hard to tell through a speaker. To me, the naturally aspirated pulls that he did were louder than the pulls that were under boost. I don't know why. Maybe because the throttle body's open. Throttle bodies themselves are kind of loud. But to me, I felt it through my legs so much more when we were NA. But I don't know. That was a fun day. Learned a lot. We're gonna make some changes, and we're gonna get back on the dyno and see if we did anything good. But that's it for now. We'll see you.